Everybody ready? Yeah, we got it. All right. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together to come together in fellowship, to worship you, praise you, but most importantly, network, work with each other, meet candidates, and of course, turn the tide for our country and turn the tide for our state. Lord, we pray, and we pray for peace, and we pray to the military in the Middle East right now. There's a lot going on in the Middle East. No matter what you believe is going on, whether it's right or wrong, we all know we want those boys and girls across the world to come home safe. We thank you for this time. We thank you for your grace and your salvation. Amen.
Amen. Alrighty. So, to start us off tonight, I only have a few announcements. And then I'm going to let our speakers begin. Halfway through the speakers, I'll give you our final amount of announcements, and then we'll move on to the other two. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with is, obviously, I'm going to take my hat off real quick. There we go, sat down on the table, putting up my Gun Owners of America hat. As your Gun Owners of America representative, we have a legislative plan now for 2027. If you guys are interested, you know your legislators are interested, get them in contact with me, make them interested, bug them, get them to me. March 14th, this Saturday, is the Bama Carry Convention. Tickets are online for sale today and tomorrow. Or you can show up and pay cash. That's going to be in Childersburg. You can find the details online. It's going to have Dick Heller, obviously, Gun Owners of America, National Association of Gun Rights, and Bama Carry. We're all going to plan to team up for 2027 and really conquer some good legislation. Now, let's go ahead and roll into our first speaker, Jay Mitchell. Let me mic him up.
Well, hello, everybody. You want to take a seat? If you have a seat to take, go ahead and take it. Can y'all hear me okay? Y'all hear me? I'm looking in the back of the room. All right, I'll try to talk at this volume, and if I'm too low for some reason, just let me know. Before I talk tonight, little known fact, I lived in Dublin, Ireland for a year after college and had my share of Guinness along the way. So it's really fun. I opened the door tonight. I didn't realize this is what I was coming into tonight. So Joel, thanks for having us here tonight, and thanks for letting everybody congregate. So for those who don't know me, my name's Jay Mitchell. I've had the honor for the last 6.5 years of serving as a judge, a justice, on the Alabama Supreme Court in Montgomery, and I'm now running for Attorney General of the state. What I thought I would do tonight is just tell you a little bit about why I've made the decision to run, and then Lord willing, as our next AG, what my biggest points of priority are going to be. So back in January of last year, I went up to Washington for the swearing in of President Trump for a second term. And I don't know if y'all remember, almost everything was locked down up there. It was bitterly cold, but I was just really fired up in that moment. And I came home and I told my wife, Elizabeth, I said, you know, sweetie, for our whole lives, as Christians, as conservatives, we've been on defense. We've been on defense against D.C., against the media, the government, against a lot of the junk coming out of our colleges and universities. But now, for the first time in our lives, with President Trump going back into office and with the mandate that he's carrying from the American people, we're not on defense. We're on offense. Our enemies are scattering, they're fleeing, and President Trump is leading the charge. Leading the charge to do what? Well, as Elizabeth and I reflected on that, what we realized was we have a unique opportunity in America to get generational conservative victories. Not just wins for the next 4 years or the next 8 years, but Lord willing, victories that our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids are going to be able to live into. Now, I think we all know if we're going to have true, lasting conservative change in America, it can't just happen in D.C. It's got to take root in the states. And if you really want to boil it down, it's got to take root in the red states, which is why it's so critically important that we elect leaders in this next election to go to Montgomery who don't just wear the right party label, who don't just say the right things, but who understand what time it is in America. This is not a time for defense, for being passive, for lying back. This is a time to go on offense with President Trump and soon to be Governor Tuberville to go and get these generational conservative victories. And ladies and gentlemen, after a lot of prayer and seeking counsel from our pastors, Elizabeth and I determined We feel called. We feel called to the front lines of the MAGA movement, and we feel called to this moment because we have got to have a great partner for Coach Tuberville across the street from the Capitol in the Attorney General's office who's going to go on offense for our values, for our people. And I'll just pledge to you tonight, that's the kind of Attorney General I'm going to be. I'm going to be on offense for you and for the people of Alabama. So let me tell you, in the brief time I have, the two big areas of priority for me. First and foremost, I am going to deal with the problem of violent crime in our state. You know, many of us have the blessing of living in safe communities, but we have some real hot spots in Alabama, and they've gotten hotter. And they're going to keep getting hotter unless we've got the right leadership coming from the Attorney General's office. Where am I talking about? Birmingham. Y'all feel it, right? When things get bad in Birmingham, it slides this way. Bessemer, Montgomery, Pritchard, Selma. I could keep going. We've got some real hot spots here. The through line, the theme, the common thread of a lot of these hot spots is that they're blue cities, being led by blue city mayors who are soft on crime and who do not back up law enforcement. And I'll tell you, we've gotten to a point in our state where I think it's high time that state government is going to have to flex on some of these blue cities that aren't getting the job done. Coach Tuberville has talked about sending in the National Guard to Birmingham and Montgomery. I support that. There are powers that state government could be using on some of these blue cities right now that we're just not using. But I'll tell you, we got to have a governor and an attorney general who's ready to hold these mayors and these soft on policing, soft on crime, city councils in some of these places, hold them accountable and make sure that we're protecting our citizens. I feel very blessed in this race for attorney general. I have the support of great law enforcement leaders across the state. For example, Sheriff John Samaniego right down the road here in Shelby County. We've got great sheriffs from North Alabama, Central Alabama, South Alabama supporting me in this race, and great tough on crime police chiefs across the state, and others lining up on the runway right behind them. I am going to deal with the problem of violent crime in our state as your next Attorney General. The second big priority for me is really working closely with President Trump and Coach Tuberville to go and get these generational conservative victories. Now, there's all kinds of things we could sit here tonight and talk about, but I'll give you a few. Combating DEI mandates, which undercut merit and common sense. I was very outspoken about this from the bench. We got to make sure that this new divisive concepts law aren't just words on a page, but that it's really being enforced. I'm talking about keeping boys out of girls' sports and out of women's spaces. I've got 4 kids, 2 daughters in high school sports right now. Elizabeth and I care passionately about this issue. I'm talking about taking on the scourge of left-wing violence. Let me tell you, that's not just something happening in New York or Chicago or Minneapolis or Portland. Look at the BLM riots in Birmingham in 2020. Look at Antifa planting a bomb outside the Attorney General's office a few years ago. And for those of y'all keeping up, this wave of trans shooters we've got going on, this is the tip of the spear when it comes to left-wing violence. We got to make sure we have an Attorney General who's locked in on this and is not going to let this grow out of control. I'm talking about making sure that big tech overreach is not happening in a way that harms our kids. Again, I've got 4 kids. My kids grew up on some of these gaming platforms, and the predators who are out there to prey on our kids, we got to make sure that's not happening. And if these online platforms are allowing it to happen, we have an Attorney General ready to hold them accountable. I could keep going. There are probably 20 different things I could sit here and talk to y'all tonight in an elaborative way, and I'd be happy to sit around afterwards and talk with you as well. But suffice it to say, we've got to have an Attorney General who's got the right mentality, who has the right attitude, who says, look, this is not a time for defense and for lying back. We got to be on offense, we got to be leaning forward, and we have to be taking ground for our conservative values and for our state. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the kind of Attorney General I'm going to be. I'm Jay Mitchell, running for Attorney General. I'd love to have your vote in the Republican primary on May 19th, and it's great to be with y'all tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, you're good.
I'll walk back here and stand in the back.
All right, everybody. We're going on with our second speaker here. This is Brian Newell. Let me mic him up real quick and just speak as loud as you can, brother. Go on, move this way. Speak right there beside the American flag for us.
All right. My name is Brian Newell. I'm running for the Alabama House of Representatives, District 50. I wasn't born into wealth or political power. I was born into poverty, saved by the grace of God, given up for adoption, raised in rural Alabama on a 16-acre farm. When time got tough, union strikes, layoffs, you know, it was, we always thank God that my dad was a farmer. I'm a Christian. I'm a retired Army combat veteran. And to this day, I'm known as one of the founding fathers of the Army Aviation Hydraulics course at Fort Eustis, Virginia, because we solved a 17-year problem in 9 months. That's what a military leader does. They identify the problem, develop a solution, and accomplish the mission. In 2022, I could no longer stand to see when I was retired. Politics is not in my game plan. But in 2022, I could no longer stand to see what our country was going to. So I ran for Congress. Even though I lost the primary to Mike Rogers, everything that I ran on, no men and women's sports, our border security, no the Mexican drug cartels listed as terrorist organizations, were all addressed through executive action. So I can say that I'm the most accomplished politician that never got elected. We need real solutions for here in Alabama, like our rural broadband access, infrastructure repairs, upgrades that attract industry and business development, accountability for our tax dollars. How about the $30 million that's spent on that goes to the Department of Transportation every year? And yet I have seen no difference than what it was before the gas tax was implemented. We can't ignore corruption. May not always be as blatant as the Quality Learning Center, but Medicare fraud and misuse of funds are real, and we can't be naive that Alabama is immune. For more than 20 years, the people of the District 50 didn't have a choice on the ballot. And it's been 24 years since a Democrat has run. Now we have both. But I'm a conservative fighter. But you know, the choices are pretty daggum easy. Your choice is clear. You want a conservative fighter that has faith in Jesus Christ, lifetime of service guided the Army values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. I believe in standing for our farmers, defending its conservative values, protecting our freedoms, and making sure the voice of District 50 is heard loud and clear in Montgomery. I'm not running to play politics. I'm running to accomplish a mission and fight for the people of the district. If you want strong leadership, faith, and someone who won't back down, I'm your candidate. If not, the alternate is clear. This campaign is about people over politics. No more complacency. Complacency will destroy a nation just as fast as incompetency. I learned to identify the problem, develop a solution, accomplish the mission, because failure is not an option. Alabama needs a renewal, so vote Brian Newell on May 19th. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
All righty, everybody. Real quick, before we get to our next candidates, I'll make announcements. Joel has an announcement about St. Patrick's Day.
So, I know we're American at heart. My roots were Irish, so the Irish pub, hence the Irish pub. But I wanted to throw out, for those that are the candidates, you're very welcome on Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day, and it's crazy here. It will be an opportunity to touch so many people that come from all over the state to come here, this little place that we built, for whatever reason. All of a sudden, we will have a little beer garden. We'll have music all day long. It would be a great opportunity if you want to come and shake hands and kiss babies. That would be a wonderful opportunity, and you're so very welcome. If you wanted to set something up, if you wanted to do something special, if you wanted to pass something out, we would love to have you. So I wanted to mention that because last year, 2,000 people may have come through here throughout the entire day. It's just 10 o'clock in the morning, they're knocking on our door ready to start. And it's a Tuesday, I know, but it doesn't matter. Everybody's Irish on Tuesday. So I would love to have you if you would like to come out and set up something or do something. I'm inviting you right now.
Yeah, we broke.
So, like he said, if you're a candidate, that means Kathy, that means Stan, that means Bill Morris. There you are, I see you. That means Brian. Everybody, please come out and support these guys just like we're doing tonight. You'll be able to meet, just like you said, hundreds, if not thousands of people if you come out and give them a visit. So please come see them Tuesday. Now, we'll get to the boring part where I have to speak and say stuff, right? Next half of our announcements. Big one, St. Clair GOP dinner. That is on April 23rd. We really, really want to see all of you guys there. There are sponsor slots. You can buy seats. Please come support our local GOP. Please get them the fundraising that we need. It's honoring our first responders and our military members. The GOP is going to be giving out an award that's going to be selected to somebody from us. And so please come out and support our GOP on April 23rd. You can find those details online. Also, we have the Cattlemen's Association. Their 7th annual rodeo is this weekend. It's March 13th and March 14th. So that's Friday and Saturday. Please go support the Cattlemen's Association. I think everybody in here loves beef, and if you love cows as much as you love the beef that's coming off of them, go support the Cattlemen's Association, please. All right, so 2 out of 3 here. I wanted to also let you guys know, in case we have people in the crowd that have contacts that can help me out, I have contacted the United States Coast Guard. I would love for a representative from them to come speak about the facility that they bought over at Birmingham Southern. So if you have contacts, let's say you can get the Commandant of the Coast Guard here, that'd be really cool. But please, let me know, message me on Facebook, get my number, something. Somebody in here has my number. All right, moving on to our second half of speakers. Kathy Bradford, let's mic you up.
Well, good evening. My name is Kathy Bradford. I am candidate for Alabama State Board of Education District 6. District 6 includes Blount, Coleman, Calhoun, Cherokee, Etowah, Marshall, St. Clair, and Talladega counties. But I want you to rewind with me for a moment. I want you to think back to 2020, to the riots going on across our country. Remember the Summer of Love? Those riots did not happen overnight. That idea grew and festered in classrooms across our country, where kids were being taught that America's broken, that authority is illegitimate, and kids were being taught to blame rather than take responsibility. Folks, I would argue that not just my school board race, but any school board race is of the utmost importance. And that's why. To tell you a little bit about myself, for 23 years I served in the Air Force and the Air Force Reserve. I'm a retired veteran. In addition to that, I am very busy in my local community. I've served almost 4 years now on the State Executive Committee. I am the president of the Coleman County Republican Women. I've been reelected to my second term. I also serve as the treasurer at the Coleman County Executive Committee. In addition to that, I am the president at the Hanceville Library Board, and I am also the secretary at the Hanceville Housing Authority. And on top of all that, for 26 years, I've been a classroom teacher. My platform is simple. 3 items: back to basics, back to a focus on classroom instruction, and back to instilling patriotism in all of our kids. One of the most important jobs that our state school members can do is ensure that our textbooks and our curriculum reflect Alabama's conservative values, not woke ideologies, not history that leaves out important facts, and our textbooks certainly shouldn't contain any kind of sexual innuendos. And folks, I'm here to tell you that textbooks across our state contain all three. As your next elected state school board member, I will work tirelessly to assure you that our textbooks reflect your conservative values. Next, we need to go back to back to a focus on classroom instruction, not state-mandated mental health programs. Folks, our teachers, myself included, we went to school to be certified and highly qualified in our subject areas. I have a master's degree in teaching history and a minor in grammar. I was that dreaded English teacher for about 17 years of the 26 I've been teaching. But folks, our teachers in the classroom are being tasked with teaching subjects way outside of their area of expertise. We're being tasked to teach on subjects ranging from anger management to physical abuse, mental abuse, and sexual abuse in our classrooms. Folks, I say that we let our teachers teach, let our counselors counsel. Our schools should be gateways to mental health services, not the providers of it. And lastly, we need to go back to instilling patriotism in all of our kids. As one who served in the military for over 2 decades, I can assure you that I have learned how important it is that our kids understand respect, responsibility, and to love this great country that we all live in. Teaching patriotism isn't political. Teaching patriotism is teaching our kids to be engaged citizens in this country's future. And I think that's something that we can all agree on that is of the utmost importance. And so folks, as an experienced educator, a veteran, and a community leader, I say we bring Alabama schools, classrooms back to their intended purpose. And their purpose is to educate. And in doing so, we'll usher Alabama's kids into their bright futures. Again, my name is Kathy Bradford. I'm running for State Board of Education District 6. I'd appreciate your vote and your support on May the 19th primary. Thank you.
Okay, guys, now, I told you Phil C would be here. He's here. He wants to make an announcement. Let's get him up here.
I'm not sure what kind of announcement I'm going to make. Jay, good to see you. Good to be here. Welcome to St. Clair County. Sherri Pub? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me get you a microphone.
I don't like mics, but okay.
Well, hey, listen, it's all on record.
Okay, it's all on record now. I'm under oath. Guys, great. I'm chairman of the St. Clair County Republican Party. I know most of you, a lot of candidates here, and I really love the process we're going through. Y'all, most of you remember Ronald Reagan in, I think it was 1966, said, "Thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican candidate." And I think St. Clair County, is that what they said, Jay? I think he said that. You weren't around. You weren't even born. But I believe in that, and I think this is a wonderful place to have this event, because I use Sherri's Pub pretty regular for my mediations for our food. This is great food, and I think they've got a new place over on the lake.
City on the lake. Yeah.
But we do have, I think Aaron mentioned earlier, we have our April 23rd spring event, and Katie Britt's husband, also known as, will be there. He'll be speaking, and our guest, and it's over at Matthews Manor on April 23rd in Springville, and we'd love to have you there. Still have a few sponsorship, right, Kathy? I think we've got a few left, and we'd love to have you there. But that's all. I'm going to be real quick. Hey, Katrina, and good to see y'all, and thank you for this event, Young Republicans. I appreciate it, Aaron. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're good. Alrighty, everybody. We're going to go on to our final speaker now. That is Stan Bateman. And let me mic him up and let him talk to you. There you go. Oh, I like your coat.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. Good to go.
Got $50.
Hey, I got this
Thrift store.
14 bucks at thrift store.
Thrift-
Hey, thrift store.
What a great country. Hey, this is exciting. First of all, it's exciting that I'm How old am I, Patty? 86. No, 78. How many in here were born after 1986? 1986. Anybody in here born 1986 or later? Raise your hand. Come on, there's more hands than that. Come on here. There's some children in here. Let's just say born from 1980 up. That may catch a few more. I was elected my first term in 1986. I don't need to be here. Shame on y'all. You should have stepped up 10 years ago. But you didn't. So I just keep coming back. And therein is part of my mission in this next 4 years. You hear politicians get up and say, please elect me one more term, one more term. I can't do this again, but one more term. This is it. And I was sort of distraught about that thought here 6 months ago. But I'm not anymore. I'm seeing more of this. I might see some parts of the Republican Party, some parts of our political process reinventing itself every time there's an election. No club meetings, no get-togethers, no camaraderie, no teaching. Not this group. Y'all got something going on Facebook or somewhere all the time. The young Republicans, really where it is located. And before I go on, I'd like to thank our presiding circuit judge, Judge Phil C. Emeritus, Judge Emeritus Phil C., for being here. He's been a great leader for our party back when he was a judge, but now that he's not a judge, he's more careful with when he says motion denied. He doesn't make the attorneys near as mad as he used to. Moving on now from where I was in 1986. Are there any mathematicians in here? What's this year? 26, right? 2026. By the way, we may be cousins. We're both from Coleman County. She's from Hanceville. My family's from Center Hill and Holly Pond, so we may be cousins. I don't know. We used to everybody claim up there to be cousins. This is 2026. Could somebody subtract 1986 from 2026?
40 years, Stan.
How many?
40.
40. Thank you. You didn't even have to. See, this is what I'm saying. There is hope for the young people. He didn't even pull out a calculator. He did it in his head. I feel better all the time because I thought this whole place is going to hell in a handbasket. But it looks like the teachers have done a better job than I thought you were. 40 years, right?
Yes.
It's when I first went into office in 1986. I have not been in office 40 years. I've been in office 28 years, which is still too many. Well, what happened to all the gaps? About every 2 terms, the people get it wrong. I'm a good example that the people are not always right, and y'all unelect me occasionally. And that's happened a few times, and that's okay, because I think if I have anything, it's tenacity. I stay involved in this process, and I'm hoping that's what you do. Don't let your feelings get hurt if you lose the last little election for anything. That's not what it's about. What it's about is stepping up with today's ideas and today's energy to run this country. That's what it's about. Now, let me move on to what I'm running for, Chairman of the County Commission. I'm just finishing up now my 20th year as the chairman. God, that's a long time. 2 terms, 8 years as a commissioner, 20 years as a chairman. If I get another, that's 24 years as your chairman. I like term limits, but I am not giving this up to some yo-yo that can't do the job. I'm sorry. That's what happens to us. I'm excited about doing the job. I'm just as excited about turning it over to somebody that'll make a mess of it. So there's where we need to be, I think, as we move forward. We need to be serious about what we're doing in choosing the people that run our county. That's not just a novel idea that I came up with. Believe me, I don't have many original ideas. Most of them, that one came out of the Bible. We're hand-chosen, we're hand-picked to be leaders of our society, of our country. But within that hand-picking, we have some written rules of what we're supposed to do. And many people thought they were hand-picked, and evidently they were hand-picked by somebody other than the good Lord. And that's the reason they didn't follow the rules. And that's kind of why we're in a mess in a lot of places. I do not believe there is any such thing as a liberal time when Jesus was here. They were farmers, and they chased goats, and they wandered in the wilderness and things like that. We've got away from those roots. The more we grow, the more that's a challenge. One of my biggest challenges as chairman in a fast-growing county is to guard against our way of life. Our way of life in this county, whether you have any land or not, this is a rural county. Coleman County is a rural county. Alabama is a rural state. Part of the reason we love it here are those roots. Not that we're backwoods hillbillies. There's conservatism in that area. There's not conservatism in the urban areas. It's more liberal. And therein is our challenge. Our way of life is rural. How do we keep it that way? Well, we've got a roadmap. First of all, we stopped taking things like home economics and 4-H and FFA out of the schools and plugging in football players. Okay, I love football. I like to go to the games, but there's only so many can play. So what has happened in our society with young people that fall into the category with those programs are out now. So where do they go for things they want to do? 40% of our workforce, which includes most of these young people, the whole workforce, if you looked at 100% of the people that could be having a job, mostly the youth, they're not even in the workforce. They're not looking for a job. They hadn't got in an application. They're out. That's been a battle, and you'll hear our governor talk about it all the time. 2 minutes? I'll hurry. You are part of the 60%. Your children, if you have children, are part of the 60%. I'm not worried about them. That other 40% is going to drain us completely out of money. We've got to figure out a way to get them back excited, back into the workforce. That means taking this thing away from them some way. I think you'd much rather pet a pony than to sit on this phone on the couch. We've got to put those things back in that excite kids. I don't know exactly what they are, but as young people, I've got confidence now that you'll figure out what those things are, and you'll put those things back into the system. I'm Stan Bateman, chairman of your county commission. I'm a conservative. I believe in smaller government. I don't believe in any regulations. We're facing subdivision regulations. My vote will be no. Well, how do you know that? Well, because I only get to vote to break a tie, and I will not break a 2-2 tie in favor of subdivision regulations. 3 commissioners are going to have to be for it. That's too important for me to break the tie for subdivision. So it's easy. My vote's no. I don't like regulations personally. Do we need them? Yeah, but I don't care. I don't want any. I don't want anybody telling me what I can do with the 6 acres behind my house that has a swamp. I don't care if it's got mosquitoes on it. I like mosquitoes. My frogs eat them. So we have differences of opinion. We have to be vocal with those opinions, step out there and take a stand. I've taken my stand. I will vote against subdivision regulation. Some of y'all got to step up and fix it though, because that's not going away. We're going to get gobbled up by growth, or you're going to violate somebody's rights to how they use their own property. It's heavy on both sides. Thank y'all for listening to me pontificate. Y'all didn't even know I knew that word. I learned that up at the Hansfield in 3rd grade, pontificate, yeah. I learned a lot of the things I know, though, really from Bill Morris. He was a great teacher back in the day. I've been excited to be your chairman. I may not get to speak to the young Republicans again. Who knows? So tonight I tell you, thank you. Thank your parents, thank your grandparents for voting for me. If y'all hang in there with me, we got one more term, and y'all see part of my goal, part of my drive this time is what I just went over with you. I lift you up in every way I can, including in prayer. So thanks for letting me speak tonight.
Okay, everybody, so I actually have an additional announcement. Nikki Van Pelt just texted me and let me know. Guys, if you guys are interested, the St. Clair County Sports Hall of Fame Banquet, scoot that way, Brian. Sports Hall of Fame Banquet. That's really hard to say, by the way, if you're yelling. It is May 2nd at the Moody Civic Center at 6 p.m. Tickets go on sale next week. They're selling advertising for the program. I know we've got several businesses here tonight who should be interested in that, so please give these guys your support. Next thing. Oh, so I actually talked with Brady Johnson. Some of you guys may be familiar with that name. He's with Student Eagles. He's also working and interning with Algop. Spoke with him earlier today. You guys know we put on a great food drive. We raised that $5,000 to $7,000 range in food that we were able to distribute in our county from September to December. Well, I told him about that, and he asked me if we might be able to help. And so I said, absolutely. If Algop wants to do a food drive, I will be right there, and I will help you guys. My members are experienced. I know just a little bit, and we're going to help these guys pull off a food drive somewhere towards fall, when the fall semester's back in. We were also asked recently by the Brock's Gap Range if we would donate a flag for their flagpole. They are asking for donations. They're over here in over there in Pell City, and they're looking for donations in order to put a flagpole on their firing range. So we're going to donate a flag for that flagpole, and they need funds. So if you're interested in giving towards a good gun range, maybe even getting a membership, please hit up Brock's Gap Range in Pell City. What we got left? Oh, one more thing, the most important thing. All of our candidates in here, since we're half of us are standing, raise your hand for me if you're a candidate tonight. Okay, real quick, we got a lot of you here, so just say your name, what you're running for. If you didn't speak tonight, the four of you guys have already talked enough. Say your name, say what you're running for, and move on to the next person. Let's start with Terry. I see Terry.